Netflix, you had one job. One job. And the story was laid out there for you because it really happened. And you still blew it. What is up, YouTube? It's RSMario here, bringing you another anime review. This time, we review the Netflix-produced, Mappa-animated Yasuke The Black Samurai. So, interesting thing, this is a real story, okay? Yasuke was a real person, alright? The show somewhat follows the story of Yasuke The Black Samurai. So, he was a Bantu African man who, like many other Africans, was taken into slavery. He was brought to Japan with, I believe it was Italian Jesuits that brought him over with them when they went on their voyage to Japan. And, you know, Oda Nobunaga saw him and, you know what I'm saying, having never seen a black person before, since the people that they brought with him are the first black people to ever come to Japan, he was amazed. He actually had, like, the scene in the show where he has Yasuke washed because he believes that he's just a white man and has been painted. Like, no, he finds out that he's literally a black man.
Why is he not clean?
It is not dirt. It is the color of his skin, my lord.
And so the Jesuits give him to Oda Nobunaga. And Oda Nobunaga makes him a samurai, puts him through the training, because of course, you know, it's a big freaking African man. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course he want him in your squad, you know? And so this is a real story, you know, and for the most part, they use it as kind of like an outline for their story in this show. But that is kind of where the show kind of goes off the rails. Everything else about the show is great. The soundtrack is freaking ridiculous. The OP from freaking Thundercat and Black Lotus, bro, like, I've been jamming to this OP for like a week. You know what I'm saying? Just vibing. Because it's that good, alright? It's that good of an OP. The animation is not the best that Mappa's done, but it does what it needs to do. It's clean, it's slick, it makes all the battles look good. Mappa did good, alright? And knowing Netflix, especially when it comes to the first seasons of their produced anime, they kind of gimp it just in case this doesn't work. We're not going to spend a whole lot of money. But this worked. Alright, Mappa did pretty good with this. You know, the problem here is the story. I mean, I can understand if you kind of embellish a little bit on the story. I mean, because there's not a lot known about Yasuke and his life. Alright, so I can understand if you embellish a little bit, you know, but they just went totally out of left field. Like, I mean, the story is told, well, there's two different stories going on. So the actual story of Yasuke is actually told in flashbacks. So Oda Nobunaga and, you know, him serving Oda and the battles they had, and then Oda's eventual betrayal by Mitsuhide, which isn't a spoiler because it happened for real. All that is told in flashbacks. Now, the modern story, the story that they have, you know, the regular timeline, is 20 years after the betrayal, and Yasuke is, you know, living on the land as a boatsman. Which I'm sitting here thinking, like, if you were an agent of Oda Nobunaga, you were a samurai under a previous daimyo, more than likely they would want to kill you. And seeing as though you're like the only black man in Japan, there's nowhere for you to hide, bro. people gonna be like, yeah, there's a black guy over there, because there's no other black people in Japan. But some kind of way he's able to hide out and just be a random boatsman in this backwater town in Japan somewhere. And so this story follows him and a little girl as he tries to get her upriver. Now in this storyline, for whatever reason, there are monsters and people with special powers and magic and freaking mechs. Yes, there are mechs in this show. There's a robot who is a literal Bumblebee reference from the Transformer movies. Okay? Like, down to the fact that most of his tech doesn't work and it's broke and he's all janky. And I'm like, why is there a Transformers reference in my 14th century Black Samurai show? Why, Netflix? Okay? Alright, why does this lady be able to transform into a bear? What's up with all this stuff? You know what I'm saying? And the problem with this is one term: School of Cool. You want to know why the Russian lady that has all the modern day clothes in 1557 Japan can turn into a bear? Because it's cool. You want to know why there's a freaking Soul Eater reference in this show? Because anime, and because it's cool. You want to know why this Catholic priest dude can seemingly shoot force lightning and turn into a monster? Because it's cool. And because it's cool, we don't need to explain it. And they don't. Honestly, the sci-fi, like the supernatural stuff is fine. Okay? It's totally fine. Alright, sandals, swords, and sorcery goes together pretty good. And to be honest, if Yaosuke is having to fight against supernatural stuff just using the pure samurai skills he has, it makes him look even more badass, because guess what? He's fighting monsters and niggas with lightning and stuff, and he's got a sword. But no, that's not all though, bro. They don't explain any of this stuff. And the technology, the robots and stuff just throws the entire thing off the rails. There's like a one line explaining why they have mechs. And you know what that line is? They say, oh, well, Mongolia tried to invade and they had mechs and we beat them and we were able to take the mechs. What? So you're trying to tell me that Kublai Khan had mechs and you somehow won this war and then co-opted the mechs? Why are there all the mechs? Why is everybody walking around in like kimonos and robes and sandals, and this lady looked like she just stepped out of Night City? What's up with this? They don't explain any of this. And it kind of pisses me off, because all you had to do was do a samurai show. Again, you can embellish the story. Like, I mean, even in the parts, the flashbacks, they embellish that a little bit by having, like, you know, Yaosuke, and he's, you know, because the big storyline with Yaosuke is racism, right? So Yaosuke is black and people don't really like that. Okay, that's fine. There's a perfect storyline here, because Yaosuke is a servant from a slave from halfway across the world. He gets brought to Japan, and the leader of Japan gives him a important socio-political title of samurai and trains him something that people train their entire lives to get, is just handed to this man that nobody's ever seen before. So then you can balance that out and like, okay, are these people right for not liking Yaosuke or wrong? You know what I'm saying? It's interesting. You know, to balance that out. Is it right for them to not like Yaosuke, or is it wrong? Because they have actual grievances. It's not Yasuke's fault, it's Oda Nobunaga's. And then again, speaking of them, the characters, Yaosuke gets sidelined in his own anime, bro. Like, the second half or the second storyline is more about the little girl who has like Professor X powers or whatever, than it is about Yasuke. And there's even a clip in here where she is telling Yasuke that she doesn't need him and she wants him on the journey because she needs a friend. And I'm like, okay, this is totally still Yaosuke, right? The Black Samurai. The even in the flashback, the character assassination is real. Like, Oda Nobunaga was known for his brutality. Alright, he was known to be pretty ruthless as a warlord of Japan. And one of the reasons why Mitsuhide, well, one of the possible reasons why Mitsuhide betrayed him is because he was vicious. There's even a rumor that Oda himself said, if I get too ruthless, kill me. You know what I'm saying? And some people say that that's what Mitsuhide did. You know? But this Oda Nobunaga isn't. Like, this dude is like, he's like Japanese Obama. He's like, I'm going to build a Japan where everybody can do what they want and love who they want. And I'm like, what? That's not Oda Nobunaga. Like, he was, he was kind of like radical when it came to Japanese culture, but not like that. I mean, not to mention, this whole thing, like, being a samurai, it's kind of gay. I mean, it was. Like, so they wouldn't have had a problem. They wouldn't have assassinated Oda because he was gay. Or because he liked femboys. Which is what they insinuate. Because the main reason why Matsuhide, a complicated character in real life, that has statues in Japan that people go to, they said that he assassinated his boss and gave Japan up to a demon lady, which that's in the second part of the show, because he was mad at his boss because his boss hired a black dude and he liked femboys. This story is trash, bro. Now the world is interesting. I'll give it to them. If they get a season 2, I want to see the world. I want to see more of this world. But everything else, hard Garbarzio, bro. This anime gets a D, bro. Get up out of here with this Netflix. Try again. So, I'm about to melt under these lights. So of course, like, comment, subscribe. Check out my second channel, where I did a review on Invincible. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, folks, keep it real.